Good to have you with us for another edition of NBA Countdown with Richard Perkins and Shanae Agumike. I am Michael Lees, and this, did I just call you Richard Perkins?
Yes.
Why did I do that? Because we don't have Kendrick Perkins, and I miss him.
He lives rent-free in our heads.
No, I miss him, so I wanted at least part of him.
We love you, Perk.
So, RJ, you're going to have to be a little Kendrick Perkins for me today.
Wait,
I don't care how you try and recover. I don't care how you try and recover. It's going to be a rough night.
You
it's
thought
going to be a rough night.
I thought it was cool.
I didn't know there was a little
Speaking of cool, let's
First
go to
of all, he would take my last name. He would take my last name. He'd be Jefferson. He'd be Kendrick Jefferson. Let's just get that out of the way.
Celtics, Jayson Tatum, they've been on a tear as of late, taking on the Nets in Boston. We pick it up fourth quarter, it's a one-point game, and RJ Tatum was just doing whatever he wanted to.
It was so impressive watching the young fella just absolutely ball. There was really nobody out there to guard him or KD.
The play of the night right there.
But the in and outs, the perimeter, he had a great attack inside the paint. That was what I thought set the difference.
So could Kyrie answer at the other
tough
end?
Bucket.
Who makes more off-balance shots than Kyrie Irving, especially in traffic? Gets it to go. Big bucket there, so it's a one-point game with less than 2 to go. 5-point game here. KD pulling up.
That's his spot right there. Free throw line, off the elbow. Those are his money spots.
I think when he shows up, it's his money spot because he was on fire also. I know.
Mid-range.
100%. That mid-range is impressive over Robert Williams. Woo.
Precisely.
So it's a 3-point game there. 40 seconds to go, and ball in the corner. Jaylen Brown. Don't forget about me. The patience, the flyby, the dagger. Celtics win at 126-120. Jayson Tatum, though, how big was he? He was 54 points big in this big win at home. So how about this kind of craziness? This was his fourth career 50-point game, which ties Larry Bird for the most in Celtics franchise history. It's also the second consecutive season that Tatum has posted multiple 50-point games. No one else in the history of the Boston franchise has ever done that once in a season.
Let's first get to this. Larry Bird did it, they said it on the broadcast. He was 32 years old when he got his fourth 50-point game. Jayson Tatum is so young.
Right?
Yeah.
He's got so much more growth. And what I love about Jayson Tatum, including just their entire organization, is his approach to the game. He doesn't seem satisfied. Every single year, it seems like he adds something else to his game. And it's not just like physicality. It's not just game. It could be just the way he talks to his teammates, his emotional connection to the city. All of this stuff grows, and so does his game.
You know, this honestly was the best game I've ever seen him play. Period.
Okay.
Just because of his maturity, his reads. It's not just his scoring, but it's his knowing, all right, they're coming at me, let me make the extra pass. I love to play where I think Marcus Smart airballed because he made the extra pass, but Marcus came right up to him and he sort of gave him a hug. I was like, this is Celtics basketball that everyone has been waiting for from those two. You know, Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Everyone's like, all right, where are they going to be? How are they going to shake out after a couple great years to start and then a couple bumps after that? Well, this looks like this is the Celtics teams we've been waiting for.
And Tatum's play has been indicative of the entire team's turnaround from what it was at the beginning of the season. Like, oh, we got a new coach. All of a sudden, this team didn't get off to a great start, but right now they're the hottest team in the NBA over the last several weeks.
No, they are. They're the hottest team, but also if you just look at the way they're playing, they have that excitement going. And once you play well inside of Boston, then the crowd starts getting going, the energy, it just kind of starts to steamroll. But it's been their defense. Their defense has been so impressive, and you know what they have offensively. You know they have two of the biggest studs, and you know they have a supporting cast around them. Jayson Tatum's probably one of the top 7 scorers in this league if you look at what his capabilities are. So if they play high-level defense, if they play top 10 defense all year long, their team is going to be an issue.
You know, maybe your last name should be Richard Eves, because that was my segue to Shanae talking about how good this defense has been for
Let's go, the segue king. The segue king.
It's more like Richard Ogwumike. Everyone wants to be me, baby.
Oh, wow.
The #1 defense in the NBA since January 1st is the Boston Celtics. They take every game, every matchup, every possession personally. And this was on display earlier today versus the Brooklyn Nets. So here's what you need to know. How good has this Celtics defense been? Well, let me give you an example. Roll me my tape producer, Curtis, today, baby. Look at how well they defended KD. That's Peyton Pritchard. Then the double team comes. Al Horford, another double team. And Pritchard, who was guarding KD, comes for the closeout and forces Goran Dragic to really step out of bounds. Turnover. KD gets doubled all the time because he's that good of a player. But today, the Celtics forced him into 3 turnovers while double teamed, which is tied for his most all season. But it wasn't only KD who was affected by the swarming Celtics late in the game. Roll me my tape again. Kyrie and KD had 4 combined turnovers late in the fourth quarter. I mean, we know Kyrie for his handle, scooped it up, off to the races. Again, look at how many Celtics are there present. 5 in the paint, force another turnover. All right, on this possession, you think that he's going to shoot the shot? 2 closeouts, 2 hands in his face. All right, get the rebound. Again, 2 players up, applying pressure. Turnover again. The Celtics seem to have found the most important thing for a team looking to make a playoff push right now. That's a defensive identity.
And, you know, that leads me to this question for you, RJ. How indicative is it for your regular season defense, maybe even late in the season, to be to a point in the playoffs that it could lead you to a championship?
Well, it's all about a progression. Now, when you talk about having a first-year head coach and a guy that's implementing a new system and trying to get the guys comfortable with that system,
right.
So you see their defense getting better and better over time, but you have to be able to count on your defense. The reason why is because unless you are an elite offensive team like the old Golden State Warriors or like the Brooklyn Nets last year, unless you have the number 1, number 2 offense by far, you're going to have to count on your defense because there's going to be certain nights where you're playing against a great defensive team and there is no team that ever wins a championship without winning a game shooting 41% from the field, 39%.
To credit Ime Udoka, it's not easy to get guys that are professionals to play defense, period.
Yeah.
The fact that they were sort of in the gutter at the start of the season, he got the buy-in, and now they're finding their strength. Watching them defend was a joy. I mean, Al Horford switching out defensively, guarding KD by himself. Then the help comes. Then the helps help. So many layers to their defense is extremely impressive.
Let's turn our attention to the Nets for a quick second here because you had KD, you had Kyrie being able to play. Right now, Kyrie can only play 6 more games the rest of the season based on the home and away schedule until New York City lifts that mandate. But no Ben Simmons, no target date for his return. And you would assume if he had been available for this game defensively, it may have been a bit of a challenge for Jayson Tatum a little bit. So the question is, though, if they don't know when Ben Simmons is coming back and they don't have the time to get him really acclimated to what's going on, how realistic is it for them to make a deep playoff run?
It's realistic because that's one of the best defenses that they will see. And you also have Kevin Durant that has only had, is just now coming back. Yeah. You have, Kyrie that's been in and out. And they were going toe-to-toe with a team that's been rolling and running. So now if they're able to get Ben Simmons back, if he shuts down 6, 7 of Jayson Tatum's points, right, just because he's guarding him, causing some problem, that changes the game. That could actually tilt the game in favor of the Brooklyn Nets. So you understand the importance of getting Ben Simmons back. But also, once Kevin Durant gets out there on the floor, everything just seems like it's going to be okay.
I know we've been preaching Brooklyn's problems forever and ever on here, but it just is wild to see KD step into, after missing 21 games, right back into his bag. It was a slow game, a slow start for Kyrie, but they were competitive. I mean, they took the lead late, a little bit late, in the fourth quarter. So, yeah, if you add Ben Simmons, a defender, and someone that can distribute and hold things down, they should compete as well.
But you did say if you add Ben Simmons, because we don't know when that's going to be. And Woj says it won't be when they play the Sixers. Available for this game defensively, it may have been a bit of a challenge for Jayson Tatum a little bit. So the question is, though, if they don't know when Ben Simmons is coming back and they don't have the time to get him really acclimated to what's going on, how realistic is it for them to make a deep playoff run?
It's realistic because that's one of the best defenses that they will see. And you also have Kevin Durant that has only had, is just now coming back. Yeah. You have, Kyrie that's been in and out. And they were going toe-to-toe with a team that's been rolling and running. So now if they're able to get Ben Simmons back, if he